Yep, I know.
However, a little bit about myself. I come from a very Catholic conservative family where Rush Limbaugh was a regular in my household. And I grew up that way. So I grew up with opposing views in my own household. So the way I have looked is I look at things from both sides. Plus, not only does it help my argument, but if I can understand the opposing view, I can then better, position myself to know, okay, well, this is where they're most likely coming from. Or if they start saying X, Y, Z, this is probably where they're going to go. So I can figure out how to, where's the source for this? Where's the source for that? So that's yes, I can have an open mind on any source. It's just a matter of reading it and looking at it.
I agree.
So,
I'm back, by the way.
Yeah. Gotcha.
They're in my server saying like they don't even want to gift because they don't want to get blocked on their other account. It's irrelevant. I mean, I'm just making a point. Like,
I mean, if they're gifting, I don't block them, mods or whoever is blocking them. I mean, I don't be real. It's only helping the live in general. I mean, it's helping me. It's helping Christie. It's helping the entire live.
To be 100%
getting us pushed out to other people.
I don't care about the gifts. I'm just explaining that as soon as they see their name on the screen, they just block them right away. And I think, like I said, I think it's just unfair. I won't even use the term unfair. I just think it's.
It's been a conversation the whole time. I
just think I always come up on other panels respectful. I just was on Genie's panel like I said, we had a conversation for about 10 or so minutes, a little bit about religion, and then I moved on. Again, I don't get to go into ops panels very often. So when I do, I'm like, okay, cool. And then I try to remain some sort of decorum, right? That way I could stay up here and we could have a conversation and maybe you guys could see it from my perspective. So I can give you a quick background of me because you just gave me a quick synopsis. I'll be like 30 seconds if you want.
Real quick, if you want to send me a couple of screenshots so I can look for those accounts. I can go look for them in the blog after I'll
tell them in my server. If you guys are in my server, because I have my server open, if anybody was blocked, can you send me the screenshots and I'll send them over? I was also muted on my other account too, twice. I took a screenshot just to show you guys, even being respectful in the comments, I was muted. I just asked, may I join? And I was muted. So.
Well, that is per directive of, typically,
did you happen to ask more than once?
Probably twice, maybe over 10 minutes or 8 minutes or so.
If it's a known account of yours or Envy's, we don't typically deal with gender criticals or you guys just because of reputation and it gets wild in the chat. But I asked Allyson if she personally did want to have these conversations and when she said yes. So that's probably why you did get muted on your other accounts. But once Allyson said yes, that's why I was like, yes, that's fine. These conversations can occur.
Gotcha. Also, is it my chat's actually asking if it's possible to turn comments on because they have questions they want to ask Genie and Allyson, or is it completely off the table?
Genie, are you okay with having questions asked?
I mean, if it's done on an equal footing, yes.
Okay.
Also, is it going to affect the conversation between you and Allyson?
No, because
I want to make sure that you guys have the time to. Have your conversation.
No, I will let conversations in the chat be handled by typical ways. Genie can handle those via response and whatnot. You and Allyson can continue to talk to your people. I will make this announcement. If things start to get crazy, wild in the chat, they will go back off. We don't need a bunch of W's, Christie W, Allyson. We're all adults here. Come on.
But I don't mind if they do W. Allyson. I enjoy it. It also pushes your live out, by the way.
It does, but I would rather, I'd rather actually see the conversation and the questions.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to take it this way. People, it's like watching. It's like an arena watching a concert or a sporting event.
But we don't do that here. That's the thing is we don't do debates and that kind of That's not the kind of lives I hold. That's my point.
That's. Fair enough.
That's why my people expect a certain level of. I don't want to say professionalism, but that's the one word that comes to my mind right away is they expect a certain level of decorum and professionalism and a way that things are going to be handled. And that's what they expect. And so when that starts happening, that's when my mods will start muting comments.
So that's a problem. Okay. That's a big problem for me. And I don't think that women that are sitting here volunteering their time to assist other women during childbirth should be losing their positions voluntarily in hospitals. Okay, so that's where I come from. This whole thing to me is just, it's insane. But you can respond. Sorry for monologuing.
Also, FYI, for those that asked, I do not have preferred pronouns, so it doesn't matter. Just don't call me it or late for dinner.
I'm also muted for the live too, by the way. I can't even comment in the chat. But whatever.
This account?
Yeah, I could screenshot right now.
I mean, I can unmute you, but we tend to, maybe, there we go. But we tend to keep it in the box, but there you go.
Sure.
Yes, no, don't call me late for dinner.
I didn't have a response to anything I think that you said because I had stepped away, but I was still trying to keep track with some of the statistics that I was talking about with regards to violent offenses that had occurred or egregious acts that occurred against transgender women, and I think that's where our topic was when I left, and now I finally came back. I don't recall. Maybe you do. I think that's where we were.
Well, that's where we were before, yeah.
Okay, so I do have some statistics in regards to that, like from the Williams Institute and the School of Law that in 2017 and 2018 that they noticed. Based on their study and analysis of crimes reported and statistics reported within induction and exduction and the incarceration system, both locally, state, federal, etc., that the victimization was 86.2 per 1,000 people compared to only 21.7 victimizations in the 1,000 per cisgender individuals. More importantly, trans women and men had higher rates of violent victimization, which came in at 86.1 and 107.5 occurrences per 1,000 respectively, versus 23.7 and 19.8.
Sure. Can you send me that in Discord, or send it to MJ because I just friended them. So send it, and I will definitely read over it, and I can come back at another time if you're bringing up sources. I don't want to speak on it unless I can actually skim through it.
Validly fair.
And I just wanted to go back to what I just made a statement. And obviously it's like anecdotal, right? It's a personal feeling that I have, but would you be willing to comment on the female experience of all the collective things that we go through every single day?
And the fact that you have worked in those situations where they're prevalent for females that experience those medical conditions and have to work through those conditions and have medical health care, and that it exists. Yeah, I know that it exists.
Right. And do you think it could be triggering or upsetting for women to have to kind of take a knee for males that want to be us?
No, because I have not met a trans woman in my life that advocates in the adverse, saying that they experience any of those medical conditions, likewise or inherent.
Well, respectfully, that wasn't my question. MJ, that's the study that I was just referencing, that it just says 4 times more likely. I was asking for the actual numbers. So if somebody could pull up the numbers of how many T people are actually harmed. I believe in 2023, the amount of T people that were unalived for being T, according to the source that I have, was 33 globally, and the majority of them were in Brazil, and they were S workers. Not that it matters why they got unalived, but I'm just sharing the number. So when we speak about like women's issues, right? I hear what you're saying, but I have to obviously disagree with that because it's just like a whole different reality. And when regardless that you haven't heard somebody say that they haven't experienced this or they don't experience endometriosis or PCOS, whatever, you guys are still causing harm to us, right? You guys are still taking scholarships away. You guys are still going into female shelters. You're still going into sororities that are female only. You guys are going into the prisons. And women are getting essayed. I speak to women in Shakopee prison in Minnesota. And these women are sending me messages that they're getting assaulted by men. We got one man removed out of there, and the man that we got out of there was an S offender, and he raped his 2 nieces and uploaded the videos to some disgusting site on the app, I don't know, some dark web, whatever the hell it is. But one of them was removed. So I would just say, like, you're actually interfering with like our prosperity and our peace. Just by going into these things. And I would say that advocating for women would be advocating for females, and any male that takes any position away from any woman globally in sports, in a scholarship at all, that directly harms them, period.
Okay. I mean, you're entitled to that perspective, and I'm not going to tell you you're not. When it comes to sports, you touched on that very lightly. I've often heard the claim that from on those other sides of the proverbial discussion that trans individuals are dominating the sports, yet our statistics and more important conversations that have held at the congressional level and discussionary topics have literally proven otherwise. Like, out of 492,552 enrolled registered athletes in the NCAA, only 11 were identified as transgendered. And more importantly, when a performance assessment was assigned by those respective coaches, only 2, and in the analysis by the team and the coach, where those individuals performed above what they call a higher performing rating. I know that there is one instance where there's a transgender woman at it's either San Jose State or something like that, where she's a volleyball player.
Yep.
Yeah, and I've seen the statistics. I've looked at her performance record. I've looked at some of the analytics provided by the NCAA and her coach. And yes, she does have some really good advantages in biological perspectives. I'm not discounting that. There are going to be anomalies when it comes to sports. But to make an all-encompassing position and posit that all transgender athletes at the NCAA level are competing at a level that makes it look like they're dominating the cisgender community, like, why is that such a focal point when that's not even the case? But more importantly, why aren't we focusing on the things that really are affecting the women in NCAA sports, like egregious behavior?
Okay, so a couple things. I never made the claim that all trans people are dominating women's
Oh,
sports.
I'm not. I know. I didn't say you did. I wasn't saying that you did. I said that this argument comes up in this discussion, and why is it that it's posited? That's more of a collective observation question. Like, why would you think that this argument, when it comes from individuals who will usually align in your viewpoint, which that's your viewpoint. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying that why is that defense always brought up? And they always analogously put that statement with that, stating that this is exactly what's happening. And I don't see confounding information that says that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I would just say that like one male that's competing and taking a spot away from a female on a team is a problem, right? And the fact that multiple state colleges just withdrew is another problem, right? So even if it's a handful of people that are taking these titles away from girls and from women, the fact that this made breaking news and headline news and multiple schools decided not to compete, that hurt more than just their team, right? That hurt all the other players too. And that's the problem that we're having. When you have one male that enters a female space, it collectively harms all the other females in the space. That's why we're having this problem. So even though, he may not be a great player and he may be a good player, whatever the case is, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter to me because it actually took down other teams from winning a championship, right? Because they don't want to play against boys. They don't want to play against men. They don't want to. And I don't think it's fair that they should have to be forced. And then the girls that declined and spoke out about it, they got in trouble. They got reprimanded, right? And they actually forfeited. So that's the problem that I have. So even though it's only a couple of people, it pours down into every single other female on the team, right? And then regardless of the NCAA, that's irrelevant. When we look globally, there's a website, if you want to look, you guys can pull it up now. It's called shewon.org. This shows, I believe in 2023, I'm not sure if they updated it yet. Oh no, they went up to 2024. How many males took titles away from females? Okay. They took 1,086 medals, and this is a conservative number because I believe that the United Nations is coming up to almost 1,700 now. 1,086 medals were taken away from females by males. Why? In 40 different sports.
Whoa, hold on. Go
ahead.
I'm just now coming to this website, and I'm trying to see where that denoter of the statement says that 1,086 medals were taken by, because I don't see that statement on there. That's what I'm just trying to understand. If I'm reading the website and I see And I quote, number of female athletes, 764. Number of medals, 1086. Number of competitions, 528. Number of sports, 40. Records, scholarships, or other opportunities. I don't see where... Okay, hold on. Let me read the website. It's dedicating to articulate the achievements of female athletes who are displaced by males in women's sports. Okay, so the statement is above it.
Yeah. So if you scroll
I didn't
down,
see that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. If you scroll down, that entire list has 1,086 medals that were taken away from females by males. And again, like we're not asking for, this isn't a big ask. We just want to be able to do our thing with other females so it's fair. That's all we're asking for. So this shows 1,086 actual medals taken away. It shows the team, the name of the athlete, and the position that she would have won. And they also have links that correspond to it. This is a great piece of information that, again, furthers my point. When we look at this, men in women's spaces harm women. Women in men's spaces is different, right? Because women in men's spaces, most of the time, they're not going to win. And most of the time, they're at risk. Right? We wouldn't put a woman in a man's prison, even if it's a trans man. There were 4 trans men that were put into men's prisons in the United States. And the instant that the prisoners found out they were female, they were removed. Why? Because they knew that they're going to be in deep trouble. So there's different situations here. A woman in a men's space, the woman's at risk. A man in the women's space, all the women are at risk. So that's the difference that we have here. And this is why we have this big problem.
Sorry for the silence. I'm actually reading the information that you provided.
We appreciate you reading.
Also, really quick, for all of Christie's followers, please do not misgender my friends in the chat, because you are misgendering people, and I don't mean trans people. You are misgendering cis people in the chat, and I will turn comments back off. And these are my friends that I care about and that I have a personal relationship with, not just random people.
This is a very interesting read. Thank you for providing it.
Hey, PTL, I don't care about the views. That's the thing. I don't care about the views. I don't care about the gifts. I don't care. That is not what I do this for. Yeah, we do poke at religion. Yeah, because your Sky Daddy's not real. I don't do religion here.
That's fair. I mean, see, like, I would let everybody poke at everybody in the comments, but religion is, it shouldn't just be that. But again, it's your life. You do what you want to do.
But right, but you guys are accusing cis women of being trans, and that's not okay.
It's just that's what people do. People are jerks. What are you gonna?
I understand.
I get called a man every day.
But again, Christie, I don't allow that in my life, and so I will turn the comments off when it is against my personal friends of mine.
Okay.
I don't mean just mutuals on the app. I mean personal friends. You can tell me to get over it, but this is my space. I am allowing Christie to be up here when I typically would not be.
Fair. That's fine.
So if you guys want to continue to have comments like you guys begged to have on and I allowed, you can abide by the house rules or not. And you can find out the consequences. I'm not special. My people expect a level of decorum.
What we could do, if you want, we can, I could send you guys some studies and some sources and some information that I have, and I can also receive what you want to provide to me, and we could schedule another debate if you'd like. It's up to you, and we could read each other's sources and maybe point out some inconsistencies or not. But I mean, if you guys are open to that, let me know.
Yeah, I can talk to Allyson about it, and we can.
Yeah, we can discuss offline.
We can add that to our conversation later, Allyson.
For sure.
Lovely.
For sure. Interesting source that you brought forward. Like, and I can't, because I'm a woman that believes in statistics, and looking at some of the statistical information as well as the factual evidence that has been provided with links, and this resource is definitely very welcome. And I do thank you for that. And
my pleasure.
But I can also say in the converse that, with the medical studies that we have, that we know that endocrinologically speaking, that the GHT does have a massive effect on individuals who do go through that transition, and it does affect things like VO2 and muscle mass and bone density, as well as blood and circulation, as well, and respiratory systems. And if that wasn't causation to understand that those things have an effect on the human physiological structure, and that wasn't prevalent, that these standards didn't exist for a reason, we wouldn't see. And I'm not saying that it's small in number, because it's by no means small. It's definitely substantial when you look at it. But if that wasn't there, you would see substantially larger numbers. You would actually see a higher displacement, is what I guess I would argue conversely, that if we didn't have standards in places for people to understand that their HRT levels had to be at a certain level, that they had to be on it for a certain amount of years, that they had to go through different aspects of their transition before they could be qualifiable to compete at any level, irregardless of how they identified. We know that GAHT has a significant endocrinological effect on the body. I'm not saying that discredits what you've provided in the analytics that I'm reading. I'm not saying that at all. But,
Sure. So
it can be discussed both ways, is what I'm trying to say.
Sure. So as of May of 2024, I'm aware personally of 40 different peer-reviewed publications that demonstrates that trans women retain inherent male athletic advantages. 9 of them are review papers, 31 are preliminary research papers, 22 are preliminary research papers that involve testosterone suppression with and without estrogen administration, and 9 of the primary research papers that I have involve the use of puberty blockers in children. So I could send you all of those 40 studies as well. There's also 9 scholarly reviews that I have by different groups of authors that evaluated the existing research, and all 9 concluded that inherent male athletic advantages are not erased by several years of GAHT. I have tons. There's 18 papers demonstrating that male advantages in lean body mass are not erased by 6 months through 14 years of gender-affirming hormone therapy. And a large amount, I believe around 70% of male athletic advantages can be explained by the sex-based differences in just lean body mass alone. I could send you probably close to 100 different papers that show that men actually don't lose as much of their strength as you think that they do. So I can provide all that to you too.
Provide that to MJ, and I can definitely read it. And just in converse, I would say that I think you're going to find studies on both sides of this discussional topic, to be honest with you. You're going to find studies in peer reviews, as well as statistics and medical relatable peer research that shows it in an advocacy of the science that I've read, and then you're going to find it on the adverse side as well as yours. I can't discredit that. You're going to have both sides of the medical field and the medical facilities of professionals who are going to have one aspect of analyzation, and then you're going to have them on my side that are having my perspective of analyzation and result in conclusion in their findings. The one statement that I was going to say, I guess, just in summation, at the very end, is at a lot of the studies that I have read at the very bottom, the one commonality that I've seen says that further consistent research and long-term longitudinal studies are more likely to be required as we move forward, ensuring that we understand how the effects of GHT-related changes affect both males and females, and the limitations of endocrinology at this point in time. Currently, our limitations in the field include, but are not limited to, things like long-term studies, small sample sizes, inadequate comparison groups, and future directionality, investigating with broader markers related to fitness outside of muscle health, muscle function, and skills that are assessed within a competitive sport. That's usually what I see in a lot of these studies. I understand what you're saying. What I'm trying to say for those who are listening to take away is that you're going to see individuals like me who have my studies, and I have maybe as many or the same that Christie does in regards to my side of the stance. But that doesn't mean that the bottom line conclusion that I've read in a majority is that I just stated to you does not hold true for their side, for Christie's side, or my side. We know that there's an inherent discrepancy here.
I would agree. And there's also other papers that I have too. Like there's a cross-sectional paper that shows that after an average of 6 years on gender-affirming hormone therapy, athletic trans women had higher jumping power, hand grip strength, absolute VO2 max, and lung capacity than very, very fit women. Again, I can provide all this. Now, I think we have to look at this, like say that I have these studies and you have these studies now, like morally, ethically, what do we do about this now? Right. So like you could bring as many studies as you want. And
right, we both could.
You could prove yourself 100% right. And I could prove myself 100% right on both sides, right? Because you could have studies that, back up what you're saying and I'll have the same. Now, my question for you is what do we do about this now? So how do we navigate through this? Should the women and girls be able to play without males there, period? Even if the males are on therapy, any type of hormone replacement or cross-sex hormones, whatever they want to do, should we just let the girls play on their own? Or should we just incorporate males that possibly might have a lower advantage? So I would just say that we should just eliminate all males so girls can play fairly.
Well, I kind of take the position that Genie has mentioned in the past, and that is just get rid of the whole entire segregation of sports in general. Completely. Get rid of the organization, get rid of the limitation, get rid of the delineated factors and monetization and all of it.
All right. Well, that's something that we would have to both discuss. So I would just say that just for fairness and equity, we would just eliminate all males. And you're going kind of more like a case by case basis, right?
Yep. Let's go ahead and do it. I mean, let's go ahead and let's get rid of all males. I mean, let's reduce everybody down to, whether or not they're valid to exist in a certain area. I think that's fair enough.
But you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. We have categories in society for reasons, right? Like we have a category of what a child is, what a disabled person is, what an elderly person is, what women are, what men are. Like we have to.
You don't want us in your space. We now have a point of commonality. You don't want us to exist around you. So
I never made that claim. You guys could exist in any way, shape, or form that you want to exist in. What I don't think is fair is that you guys push us out of our own space. That was my statement. I never made a claim that you guys shouldn't exist, don't exist, or I don't believe you exist. I believe you exist. I think you guys should exist, and you should be able to express yourselves however you'd like to. However, I think that our category shouldn't be disrupted. That's all I'm saying.
Except you said remove all males. You cannot exist in the same space.
I remove males from female spaces, yes. That includes male prison guards, by the way. Yes.
That I'll agree with. We need to get rid of male
prison guards in women's prisons out.
Yeah, 100% agreement on that.
So all I'm doing is implementing protections for females. That's all. For women and girls. That's my stance. I don't think anything ill on your community. I don't like that you guys come in and push us out of our space. I think it's unfair.
We should also remove sexually predator-oriented females from female spaces.
That's probably going to be difficult, right? Because first of all, the prevalence of women that offend is extremely low. We could look at the prison statistics too and determine that as well. This is not a hard thing to debunk. It's extremely low. I think there's less than 2% of women that are in prison. I think it's actually less. I think it's actually 1%. I could look up my numbers. I haven't looked at it in a long time. I think there's less than 1%. I think there's less than 1% of females that are predatory sexually against anybody else.
Okay, we'll build them their own prisons where they can go.
Okay, no, they can go into the female prisons just like the men
they shouldn't, because they're sexual predators. They should not go in there because sexual predation is not based upon genitals. It is based upon power, and that needs to be separated from females.
What are you talking about? We're talking about that makes no sense. Men that are predators are going in prison with other men. Women that are predators go into prison with other women. I'm not sure what you're getting at here.
But you don't want people taking advantage of females. So why keep...
Are you not following?
Why keep predatory females with females? Why not separate them as well?
So then why don't you guys, the LGBT, the legitimate equality, I think, brings in $30 billion a year. Why don't you guys advocate for a separate prison then? And then you guys could put the women and men together, and I could sit here and advocate for the women and men to be separate. Why don't you guys do that?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's build it.
No, you guys can do that. I don't believe that we should do that. I think the women should stay with women. I don't think that at-risk men should be, or at-risk or poor performing men or scared or vulnerable men should be placed with females. That's my argument. It has nothing to do with predatory females. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Anyway, I got to run. My daughter just got home from school and we're going to do some homework. But I'm going to send you guys the studies that I have. MJ, if you want to send them to Allyson, I will send them to you and we could have another conversation. I don't know if you guys want to do it on my page, but I'll be more than happy to come back here.
All right, I'll talk to Allyson and then we'll figure it out.
Ciao.
Not Allyson at 10K coins. Oh shit, what you buying, Corey, with your 10,000 coins? You're like, what, $5?